Happy Wednesday. We are halfway through the week, and that's exciting. It is also the third day of June, so also exciting. We are in June. There's been a lot of stuff going on in the outside world, but I try to keep things pretty light and chill here so that we're a bit of an escape. But I don't want people thinking that I'm ignoring stuff either. So much hope, much blessings to everybody out there always. And I hope that maybe the cards will give you some sort of answer to some of the things that are going on. Maybe give you some reprieve, something. I don't know. But things, the only constant is change, and chaos is going to happen. We make what we can of it, and maybe the cards will tell me something else about that today. So, without further ado, on this Wednesday, June the 3rd, did say that? Our card of the day. Oh, okay, this is a fancy one. Check that out. Lots of different colors. This is the Chariot. So, in the standard tarot deck, I'm going to keep holding it up because I really think these are cool. In the standard tarot deck, Rider-Waite, all the symbology and things like that go along with the Chariot, which is one of the major arcana, which goes along with that journey, the fool's journey, the fool's adventure, the hero's journey, all those kinds of things tie into this. The major arcana cards are the cards that were removed from the deck. That if you have a standard playing card deck, you won't have these cards, obviously. The only one that did survive it, though, was the Fool. So this one is number 7 in the standard deck. There's also a lot of cool symbols on this card. For one, this Chariot is being drawn by a pair of dragons that almost look like they're his legs. So that's kind of cool. They're also the most colorful thing on this card, which in this deck, it's super colorful. I mean, back and front of these cards are super bright, super colorful. Again, we're using the Sakki-Sakki deck, which is a very artist-centric deck. Very fun. But yeah, it's got some color around the edge, but our Chariot driver is the duality, the black and the white, which comes in as a major symbol for this card because the Chariot is always driving us towards some choice. He is that decision, that fork in the road. Do we go this way or do we go this way? And not that either one is wrong, it's these are the things that are going to happen depending on what choices you make. But he is driving towards those choices. The dragons are really cool on this because they really show that energy, that force that is driving him forward. Usually it's the Chariot horses that are the black and the white. So I find that interesting that in this case, she has chosen to make these all bright colored and fanciful. And it's the rider himself who has embodied the duality. That's kind of cool. I like the idea of it's actually part of the rider himself rather than, oh, it's these two horses. I can't help it. This horse is stronger than the other one. I had to go that way. No, this puts it all on the writer, which is really good because I think it kind of puts it also on the person asking the question. It's not about those forces external to yourself that are making those decisions for you. It's about you and what choice is right for you and what choice works for who you are and what you represent. It has nothing to do with the outside world. So that's cool. That's kind of the more basic stuff about this card that's very typical. All right, I know this is hiding some little secrets and things because all of them have had like these neat little symbols on them. And yes, indeed. Okay, so down by the word Chariot, which is really whimsically written, by the way, is the little like 6. It's almost like a 6 and a 9 lying on its side for the dirty minds out there. Stuff it, stuff it. Which is, of course, the symbol for Cancer. Cancer, the zodiac sign, not Cancer, the illness. So the zodiac sign Cancer is an embodiment of this one too, which is interesting because like when I think about Cancer and I think about the archetype that represents, is they're kind of that nurturing person, but they also do possess a lot of duality in that they are very secretive, but they're also very open, and they're very helpful, but they're also very quiet into themselves. So it kind of works. It's interesting to have that on there. I do like that. The other one that I've got, and you'll have to forgive me, I am not super up on my Hebrew symbols and the all of those things that go along with the tree of life. Although I did kind of flip through this and look at the tree of life symbol that she's got in there. Although it's pretty vague. If you really want more, yeah, I turned right to it. If you really want more than that, you're going to want to pick up a book about the tree of life and about that symbology and that modality. I do have some cool books. If you leave a comment, I will recommend them to you absolutely. And this one is, please forgive my pronunciation of all of these symbols. I think it's Het or Het. Uh, HET is how I've seen it before. And I think, though, that's the number 8. I don't think it's 7. I think it's 8. So I'm not sure that the number aspect is what's important in this, because it would be silly to have the number 8 on the number 7 card unless somebody wants to tell me that there is no number 7 in Hebrew. I don't know. You'll have to help me out with that. So the Het symbol, I'm sure I'm massacring that word. It does represent, though, that progress. So even though in this instance it's also the number 8, I would say that it probably is more about that progress. And because the Chariot, again, is all about progress. It's all about pushing forward and doing things in force kind of thing. So I'm looking at this more as it's kind of more symbolic rather than its numeric value. The symbology behind this one is about progress, getting to the next level, achievement, and those kinds of things. And please give me some space on these things, because that is not my forte, and neither is the zodiac. Cards are my forte, symbology and the cards. But I have learned a lot of interesting symbology over the years because of different card decks and because of different mythologies and rituals and things like that that I've kind of had a glossing interest in. So it's kind of fun to see that come together in these cards. I think this is the first one that I've looked at that has had the Hebrew symbol in it, but I could be wrong. There is this interesting point where it's kind of up in the air. So totally going off of my own feelings on this, being that this symbol is kind of floating back here, and it's not like part of the chariot itself, it's not formed by the dragons or anything like that, it does feel like it's something in the thoughts. We've talked about it before that if it's up in the air and kind of up and behind the character in the card, that it probably has to do with their inner thoughts, their soul, their feelings, that kind of thing. If it's down in front of them, it feels like the physical world. And then if it's up above them, it definitely is coming from the higher power. It's pretty direct in that. So when I look at the symbology of this and it's kind of behind his head and off to the side, I do see it as this is what he's thinking about. He's thinking about moving forward. He's thinking about that direction. And now I'm going to look again at his face, which also has this sort of mask on it. And the mask itself has got like a symbol going this way and across the other way, and one is black and one is white, those little shapes. And he has his hair sort of tied up and back with these feathers on it, and the feathers are black and white as well. So everything about this guy is the duality, the black and white, the yes and the no, the on and the off. All of those different things are embodied in his imagery. I'll also point out that it looks like there's sort of more darkness on one side of his body and light on the other. That could just be the artist's representation of things, but as you'll see as we go through these different cards, these artists are really, really looking at every little aspect of their painting and their drawing. which is why if you ever decide that you're ready to make your own tarot deck, which I totally recommend, even if you don't complete the project, try to make your own tarot deck out of whatever it is that you feel. So think about all these little nuances in it. Really get your brain cooking about what these symbols mean and what it means to you to have these symbols and how to represent them. I want to go back one more thing on this and say that the dragons themselves kind of are a duality a little bit, in that one of them kind of has more of a pinkish tone to it and the other is more blue, which we can do that with like the male female. You can also look at it as the red and the blue of like the yin and the yang, because not all yin and yang are represented in black and white. A lot of them are represented in blue and red. That's a different modality altogether. So she has managed to include in this one little card so many themes and so many mythologies and so many ideas and symbols. It's really impressive. So instead of looking at these cards and going, well, those look chaotic and crazy, and they're just artsy, really look at it because there's a lot of cool stuff going on in these cards. So I recommend it. Again, I don't recommend these cards for somebody who's super new at the tarot or reading them, but they can be a lot of fun for somebody who has been doing this a long time or wants to try something different or really wants to up their game in studying these symbols. So thank you again so much. I hope you learned a lot about that card, and I definitely did. This is starting to make my brain warm. I'm excited about what else we have to do for the month. And if you are interested in having a reading with these cards or any of the other cards decks that I have used or talked about, please go ahead and contact me through my website, which is in the description, or feel free to leave a comment about all the cool stuff. If I've made a mistake about some of these symbols, please correct me, and I will try to put out a video or something, or at least comment in there that, hey, yeah, you got me. I'm new at a lot of this stuff. There's a lot of things in my brain, but there's a lot of things that aren't. So this is really exciting for me. I'm always open to more information. And as always, if you're interested in tarot lessons, also please check out my website, check that out, and see how you can connect with me. If you are interested in checking out a cool book about how technology and the metaphysical connect, as always, check out my book that I recently released with Bob Frank called Cloud to Cloud. It's really fun. It's science fiction. It's a bit of a heady read, but I don't know. I think we bring it down with some action adventure bits too. And have a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. Be careful out there. Have fun where you can. And keep learning. Keep studying. All right.